this edition of Hindsight is Horrifying, the show where two mostly normal and somewhat cynical adults discuss life as members of the TV generation. Now, here are your hosts, Darth Jada and Jason Mitchell.
Good evening, Hindsighters, and welcome to a historical episode of Hindsight is Horrifying. What are we doing tonight, Jason?
Well,
This episode's so special.
yeah. Well, if you saw the opening credits, you might have guessed.
You have a hint.
Yes, we're talking about Porky's,
Yes.
the franchise.
That's what
great
escaped
trilogy.
through
Actually,
the
no,
glory hole.
no. We're talking about Full
The
Metal
bats.
Jacket. It's Joker.
Full Metal Jacket.
No, we are tonight going to be discussing one of the most awesome characters in cinema history, and that is Joker.
Yes.
And
the
we've got
Joker.
some help tonight.
We do
have some
indeed. It's a
help.
packed studio, Hindsighters. We have some beloved guests back to join us. We have the infamous young Adam.
Yes.
Good to be back talking about Sharks last time and the Joker now. That might have been the most epic intro I've ever been a part of.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jason, for making that movie magic happen.
Yes.
And we have Adam's lovely girlfriend, Alyssa, in the studio with us this evening. Welcome back, Alyssa.
Thank you. Glad to be back.
And coincidentally, we all four are Shakespearean actors.
Yes.
Once again.
Acting?
Once again, yes. We are all going to be appearing in the upcoming Act
Is it
One-
titled yet?
I think it's just called
Shakespeare
Shakespeare
in the Park?
Palooza or
Something like that.
Shakespeare.
Shakespeare stock?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something
I love
like
it.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Shakespeare in Lust.
Shakespeare in Love.
Yeah, it's very similar to the one you've seen in the theater.
There you go.
No, it's an evening with Shakespeare.
Something like that.
Something like that.
Shakespeare
That
and
sounds about right.
Friends. I don't know.
We're not sure, but it will debut in the upcoming weeks. It's coming up very
Yes.
quickly, Hindsighter, so we will
Yes.
keep you abreast of the details.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes.
But all four of us are
Yes.
participating. This is true.
Yes.
And we're all almost off book, I think.
Oh, yeah, I was out of the book yesterday.
I need to read the script.
What have
Yeah.
you guys been doing? Jeez.
Teaching.
Having a life, you mean? Oh, my God.
Oh, goodness.
Imagine. But yeah, we do have that exciting project upcoming. But right now, we're focusing on something
Yes.
even
something
more
true.
important.
Last time we were all together.
Not together.
Well, not
we were
together.
Zooming.
Yeah.
And we were in the other room.
Yes.
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 To spice things up.
Okay, the
That's
la-
how boring COVID made our lives. We were like, we know what we'll do. We'll move to another room. It'll be great.
Next week we'll be on the roof. We were discussing the last time we all four appeared together.
We were discussing
we
Batman.
were discussing Batman.
Batman
Yes.
and Robin.
The highlight of the franchise.
Yes, and that sort of inspired us.
Chill out.
Please don't.
Oh, it already happened. It's already over.
That sort of inspired us to come up with another Batman-themed episode, and we didn't want to just do another Batman movie
No, you can't just...
because there's nowhere to go after Batman and Robin.
No, absolutely not.
So that's it.
We hockey skated so hard into a wall with that one. So, no, that was over.
Yes.
So we decided to
Were
go...
there like monkeys on skates in that? I don't even.
There were, there
Evil
were
hockey players.
Okay.
Yeah.
Batman
Yeah.
and Robin ice skated. That was really
Okay.
exciting.
The
That's pretty cool.
monkeys,
Let's
the
get the fuck
monkeys
outta
were
here.
the big gorilla people, where like
Motherfucker.
Poison Ivy like reveals herself
That's
dressed as a
right.
monkey.
The stripper
Yeah.
gorilla.
That's
She was
right.
Yes,
stripper.
yes. Stripper
You-
gorilla.
Like you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So-
mean, naturally.
We decided to take things in a little bit of a different direction for you this week, Hindsighters, despite the fact that we are revisiting the DC world of Batman. So what we're doing is a Joker retrospective with
Yes.
boyfriend pitted against girlfriend.
Dun, dun, dun.
So, and by that, I take it to mean that you each have diametrically opposed opinions
I hope so.
about who was the superior Batman or Joker.
Absolutely.
We're pretty much
What?
in agreement on Batman, but yeah, Joker, yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, we will start with you, young Adam. Who is your pick for the best Joker?
Okay, so long story short, I didn't grow up to fully appreciate the Adam West TV show until I was much older.
Lame.
So when I was a kid, my Joker was, my generation, because I'm a fetus, my generation was pretty much came down to Jack Nicholson for live action and then Mark Hamill for animated. So those are the Jokers that I grew up with as a child.
Okay.
And then the year 2008 came around, and the character of the Joker was escalated to an entirely higher, amazing level when Heath Ledger decided to give arguably the greatest villain performance in the history of cinema.
Yeah.
I
So
can feel the hate just churning in the room.
And in case you can't tell by now, I am, of course, citing for Heath Ledger's amazing performance in The Dark Knight.
Okay, and the
Alyssa.
Counterpoint. I put it to you, Alyssa.
He's wrong by all accounts.
Thank you very much. Thank you for joining us.
Yes.
I should have worn my referee costume like I planned.
Clearly, the best Joker is the Joker that meets the OG with how he was originally depicted, meets with the dark side of where the Joker has gone to, which is Jack Nicholson's character.
Ooh.
Okay, well,
Strong words from each
let's
corner.
let's put a little bit of background to this, talking about the Joker, not the Joker, because he gets real pissed off if you say the. He's
always called him the
he's like
Joker.
Ukraine. Don't say the Ukraine. It's just Ukraine.
Yeah, when you bring me out, can you call me Joker?
You can just say New York.
Yeah, you don't say the Canada.
New York City.
No, but Joker premiered in the very first issue of Batman's. Remember, Batman, he was in how many issues of Detective Comics?
A ton of issues of Detective Comics.
And then he got
I was
his
about to say, I
own.
have no idea.
He got his own comic, and in issue 1,
Okay.
Joker premiered and was supposed to die.
Yes.
Yeah,
Very
supposed to die.
Sherlockian of him.
He was supposed to be a one-off character.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, because they didn't like the idea that Batman would defeat someone and then they would just keep coming back, because it's sort of like, well, what the hell's wrong with Batman?
Why is he so bad at his job?
Yeah, can he not close a deal? But
Get
of
it
course,
together, Batman.
yeah,
God.
but last minute decision, somebody editorial decision, they actually put an extra cell in the comic showing that Joker wasn't dead. And the rest is history.
There
Sinestro
you
put
go.
on the ring of fear.
I mean, he could have died in the issue, and then they could have just been like, he's back.
Yeah.
But,
He didn't. Well, I mean, that's what
Somebody
happened with
taking
Sherlock
over.
Holmes, is that so many people in England were so livid when they killed off Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, Queen
Yeah.
Victoria tweeted, WTF.
She was
Doyle.
spewing vitriol
Yeah.
on Twitter. It was a
Yeah.
huge deal.
anytime they kill like a popular fictional character, I think they also did that with Captain America
Yeah,
or somebody.
Did they?
Everybody loses their mind, and then they bring him back like a month later.
right. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Well-
I'm still bitter over Spider-Man, and he's already come back, and now I'm just bitter over Robert
Well,
Downey Jr.
Yeah, but
Oh,
that's the
yeah.
thing. It's sort of like, it's exactly what you said, because they end up screwing with the continuity of the stories year on
For
year.
popularity's
Somebody
sake.
dies, they bring him back, then they
Yeah.
come back and they go, well, that wasn't actually him. That was a different person.
It's gotta love
you know,
that.
Yeah, it's like how
funny.
many
Yeah.
Robins are we up to now? Like 4?
Yeah, we've
I
got
think-
several.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, there's Dick Grayson, Tim Drake. There's a
Tim-
bunch of
yeah.
Robins.
Nightwing,
So many different
Nightwing.
versions.
Nightwing, he
yeah.
becomes Nightwing. Yeah.
Red Cape.
Red
Well,
Cape.
Red Cape.
Cape.
Yeah.
And with Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, I can actually respect that, because the thing that happened, if you guys aren't super familiar with Sherlock, the books, everybody's seen the BBC show and the
I've
movies.
seen the
with
Robert Downey
RDJ.
Jr. movie. That's
yeah,
it.
exactly. So with the books, when the
We'll have a RDJ versus Jeremy Brett episode of the show. Jeremy Brett was
Oh
better
dear God,
because he actually, played Sherlock Holmes.
shade thrown. Anyway,
That's fair.
the point is that when Sir Arthur Conan Doyle wrote the Reichenbach Fall, where Sherlock Holmes falls to his death, Moriarty, he's supposed to have died. That was Sir Arthur Conan Doyle signing off
Yeah.
with Sherlock because he was done writing the character.
Do you believe that?
But
You've read it. Doesn't it come across as he really left the door open?
he did leave the door.
This is valuable
open,
Joker information, by the way.
It
course.
is. He left the door open, but the entire country, especially since it was England, they didn't have a comic book hero, like a regular hero that they could follow, like Superman, like we did in America.
He was the
Right,
first
right.
superhero.
Yeah, he was
Yeah,
the
he really
first
was.
superhero, Sherlock Holmes. And
Yeah.
when Doyle killed him off, people were wearing like grieving not
the
patches,
black armbands.
the black armbands. People were writing letters. They were infuriated.
That's what I did when they killed Alf.
You can't kill Alf. He's Gandalf.
Anyway, so the Joker.
But the point is that as far as repetition goes, that's the first time it really happened, as far as I'm aware, is with Doyle killing off Sherlock Holmes, and there was such pushback on that from an entire nation that Sir Arthur Conan Doyle felt compelled to bring Sherlock back.
I actually think that was a giant publicity stunt.
It was a farce.
Because think about it, he falls off.
It's a ruse, you big dumb idiot.
You never see the body. If you're going to kill your character off.
That's true.
I mean, it's like there was no point in that when it was like, oh, Watson cried over the bloody pulp, Sherlock Holmes. No, he just, when I got back, he was gone.
It was an assumption. Yeah, exactly. It's like, Pixar didn't happen. so that's kind of what happened with Sherlock.
So Joker.
But so they bring back the Joker in that same sense. Yeah. Go ahead with that point.
Yeah, he's gone through not only different lives, but different styles of Joker. You've got the Golden Age Joker. What is the Golden Age, the Silver Age, the Bronze Age? I don't know who the hell names these
a bunch of ages.
Yeah.
And
There are really ages of the Joker?
No, of comics.
Yeah.
Like in the 60s and 70s, he was like very, not innocent, but like his jokes were a little more lighthearted. He was very clownish.
They were pranky.
And then in the 80s, he kind of became a little more like psychotic, and then and they continued that on to the 90s, and then Heath Ledger took it and made it even better in 2008.
And now you have like almost the Stockholm syndrome version with him and Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
So now it's a weird abusive couple kind of.
Yeah, which is so it's so
which
weird.
Which then extends into the new Joker movie where it's not really the Joker at all. It's a mental illness thing. It's not like a psychotic thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's no fun to make fun of him anymore.
Exactly.
Well,
that's fair.
Yeah, because there was you were mentioning, Adam, about the the sort of jovial Joker where he was a prankster, and a lot of people don't realize. Of course, I was going to say a lot of people who read comic books today, but they're all over 40. So you probably
mean the people who read?
Yeah,
I read here and there.
Do kids read comic books?
40.
I know a few that read comic books here and there, but most of them are your age.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's exactly what I mean.
Just being real. Just being real. Yeah.
I love writing this line of being one of the younger people in the studio. Yet
you're like in the middle.
Yet I'm lobbed with the two older guys.
Well, people don't realize that there was actually a code of content that was allowed in comic books because there was this big scare that there was this rise in juvenile delinquency and promiscuity,
corrupt your children.
and homosexuality and all these awful things and somebody said, well, it's got to be the comic books.
Really?
So basically what happened was...
Because the adults weren't into it, and they've got to find a source that has nothing to do with the adults, yet only the children are invested in.
That's part of it. Part of it also is, if you go back and you do look at... Particularly the art of the old, Golden Age women in comic books... was pretty... Awesome.
It's pretty risque. Funny how we use two wildly different words to describe that. So... What I'm really interested in is where this argument, because these two are in a relationship, hindsighters, as we've already pointed out. So when did
We're trying to maintain this relationship during this podcast.
So when did the shine come off the apple? When did this, deep-seated argument really start?
Can I?
Guys?
Oh, yeah, you take this one.
Do it.
Okay, so this conversation actually came up. Adam has a younger brother.
You have a younger brother?
Yes.
He does.
Is that possible?
His name is Young Aaron.
His name is Young Aaron.
Younger Aaron.
Younger Aaron. And it just happened to be a night that we took Aaron with us to go to dinner or something like that.
Was it when we went to go see the Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie?
No, it was before this.
Okay, it's before that.
So we took him to dinner. We were just having a conversation about comic books. Mm-hmm. And Aaron made a comment and he was like, I feel bad because you can't really say anything during this because you probably don't know what we're talking about. And then I was like, no, I love Batman. My favorite Joker is Jack Nicholson. And Adam stopped the car.
Oh, I will turn this car around.
He was like, explain yourself and give me reasons why you feel that way. And it just turned into a debate, and he was cracking up so hard, his brother in the back seat, that we're like, we have to contact Darth Jader and just like
get this on
we
the
need
podcast.
to do this.
Turn this into a show.
It's been cooking for a while, so yeah, that makes sense.
I will preface this, although this is still going to be a debate. I have to preface this by saying it's like Sophie's choice here because I love Jack Nicholson's Joker. I have to give it to, my choice just a notch up. So,
well, I think you can't talk about the Jack Nicholson Joker or the Heath Ledger Joker without discussing the movies themselves.
And
Very
the,
true.
And
Because-
the lore
Very true.
behind the supposed interaction between the two of them.
Well,
True.
yeah. And you have to look at Jack Nicholson was the perfect Joker for the Tim
that
Burton
movie.
Yes.
You know, you couldn't have put Heath Ledger in one.
No,
Absolutely
and
not.
another.
Absolutely.
They wouldn't have. I mean, they're both extremely talented actors. They would have done.
They would have done a great
They would have
job.
done a great job, but they were perfect for that
Exactly.
zeitgeist, that spirit.
Well, and that's my
Yeah.
question.
Yes.
So we
Yeah.
all know, everybody in the room is an actor, so they all know that the director is ultimately the cause of the feel for the film.
Yes.
Yeah.
But my question goes a little further into the sense that, like, is Batman really more of the influencer of how the Joker is? Because, I mean, like, let's take the director out of it. Like, let's pretend that Chris Nolan...
They're a dyad.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is that does Batman directly affect how the Joker's going to be? Like, because you have the Christian Bale who's all very intense, and he plays the Bruce Wayne factor a lot more, suave and
Which I like.
sophisticated, and he's kind of a douchebag, honestly, when he's in his Bruce Wayne.
So was
persona.
Bruce Wayne.
It's his
I know,
Bruce
but-
Wayne
yeah.
But
persona.
Michael Keaton
Yeah.
doesn't do that. Michael
No, he
Keaton's
does
kind of
not.
like, oh shucks, I've never even eaten in my own dining room. Like he's a lot more humble than
Yeah.
Christian Bale is
Yeah.
in the Bruce Wayne
That's fair.
persona.
Well, and that's extremely important because
True.
what you're saying makes perfect sense because in the comic books, in the animated series, in the mythos of Batman,
Mr. Drosden.
Joker is the cracked mirror of Batman.
Yes.
Whoever
Yes.
Batman is, Joker's got to be the one
Yeah.
who's like, if Batman's really serious, Joker's got to be a complete fucking lunatic.
Because I
Yeah,
will give
he
it
has
to
to be.
Darby in
He
that
has to be
sense.
unhinged.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Heath Ledger does have that great quote where he says, "You and I know that madness is like gravity. All it takes is a little push." So, and that's the Joker in, Darby's favorite with Heath Ledger. He breaks everyone around Batman.
Yeah.
And that's how he knows how to break Batman himself.
Yeah.
Is that, if he breaks Batman's idols, the people that he was, bringing up from the ashes of the ruin that was Gotham, that's how he breaks into. He's a sociopath, whereas
Oh,
the
yeah.
Jack Nicholson version is more of a psychopath, where he
Yes.
doesn't really worry about the outcome, but he does have
Yeah.
emotional.
He's a dog without a leash.
Yeah, that's true. He's just running wild through the streets, but with the psychopathic version with Nicholson,
Yeah, Jack Nicholson does have more of a goal. Jack Nicholson.
I don't know about that.
I would argue that Heath Ledger has a little bit more of a goal in that he's trying to bring the flaws of society to the forefront for everybody else to see.
Exactly.
He's
So
an
that
anarchist.
so that they can all live in chaos together, because that's what he says, is that chaos is fair.
He's an
So-
agent of
But-
chaos.
Yes, he's an agent.
But what's great about Heath Ledger's Joker, because of the dialogue, because and they do it so masterfully in the movie. The fact that
it's a
Joker
brilliant movie.
consistently tells people his origin story and he just makes it up every single time,
It
or you
changes,
don't
yeah.
know, one of them might be
Well-
true, but
Well,
and
that's one of my
it's-
questions too
yeah.
for these two.
Okay,
Yeah.
go.
So, let's get into like the debate of it. So,
Sure.
Besides, we can ask specific things. So, like with your Joker, there is no real origin story, Darby.
Yes.
With Alyssa's, there is. There's a
There
very
is.
specific
There is.
backstory. You know that you see Batman drop him into the chemicals at, what is it, Axel Chemicals, I want to say, where the mafia boss is setting him up because Jack Nicholson is screwing
Axis.
around. Axis, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Jack Napier is screwing around with the
Yes.
Mafia Don's woman.
Yes.
So the Mafia Don sets him up, and
You, I'm my number one.
and that gets said more than once.
See?
So
But-
fucking awesome.
So, like, does that feed into why y'all like the Joker any better or less? Like the fact that he has a vague backstory, or the fact that he has a very specific one? Like, how does that factor in?
I'm going to let you take this one first. I guess we can kind of go back and
Okay.
forth. Yeah.
How civil of a debate this is.
Thank you so much.
Gentlemanly.
You have 2 minutes.
Okay. I think that for me, the backstory that follows along with him being in the mafia, where he's already kind of
ingratiated
into the evil before becoming who he is. I like that a lot. I also like, those of you who haven't seen the movie, watch it, because I'm about to spoil.
They're both great.
That he has a certain phrase that he says all the time.
Uh-huh.
Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight? And it connects back when Michael Keaton's Batman remembers his childhood and remembers that the man that killed his parents.
Did you ever dance with the
Devil in the pale moonlight, which means that the Joker killed his parents, which I also like because it's like full circle.
Yes, whereas with Darby's Heath Ledger, there's no connection with him and Batman personally, like there is with Nicholson.
True.
And real quick before you say before you respond, or rebuttal, I don't think in the comics there was ever, and somebody can correct me on the comments, I don't think in the comics there was ever a connection between Joker and killing Bruce's parents.
There was not. This actually, goes right into what I was about to say. Like, Tim Burton actually made this up as it's a new origin for the Joker. And here's the thing: I kind of go back and forth, because the Joker does not have a distinct origin in the comics. You can read The Killing Joke, you can read a couple of different things, and you can watch a couple of the movies like Tim Burton's Batman, and he has an origin, but that's not the distinctive origin of the Joker. He doesn't have one origin. And in many comics, they don't go into it, and in some, they give you one thing, and then they'll give you another thing in the next, which I go back and forth. I like that in the Tim Burton film, as you were saying, that the Joker caused Bruce Wayne to become Batman, and then then Batman causes Jack Napier in the movie to become the Joker.
They're both each Frankenstein's monster.
It's a very cool connection, and Tim Burton, considering he wanted to make an origin,
poetry. It rhymes.
It rhymes, yeah. I mean, considering Tim Burton wanted to make an origin for the Joker, that's a really cool way to go. However, I've always liked not knowing the origin of the Joker. I like the ambiguity that goes with the character. And the moment when I realized that I love Heath Ledger and that I think his performance was so great was when the movie gives you a little story about how he got his scars. And the first story that he gives, you think it's the only story. You think it's the only time he's going to say it. But
so intense and genuine.
But when you first see the movie, he says, I got these scars because my father was a drinker and a fiend. And his father caused him to do stuff, caused the scars. But then he starts the story a second time in the movie, and I was like, oh, here we go again. You get a nice glimpse into the Joker's past, and he's going to tell Rachel this story about his father again that we heard before. And then he goes, and then he goes, so I stuck a razor in my mouth, and I was like, oh.
Because of a wife.
So,
he had a wife who wouldn't smile.
He had a wife who wouldn't smile.
And she had debts with the sharks. Yeah.
And she had debts with the sharks, so he decided to take a razor. Oh. Every time he tells the story, it's different, much like the comic books when they try to dig into the Joker's origin story. When I realized that the Joker doesn't have one origin in this movie, that's when I was like, oh, Heath Ledger's Joker is great.
Well, and that, I think, speaks to the movie itself.
Yeah,
too.
Absolutely.
It does.
It's an evolutionary thing, and it's a weird thing, the analogy that I use for a lot of different movie franchises as they go, particularly from the 80s to the
90s
2010s,
or early 2000s,
is if you go back and you watch, like, I love Futurama. Okay,
what?
Futurama, great show.
What is Futurama?
Oh my god!
I even know what Futurama is.
That's terrible.
I never got into that show.
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
okay. So no, I love Futurama, right? And I watched it, from beginning to end, and then years go by, and you watch shows like Archer and Bob's Burgers.
Oh God, two of the greatest shows that were
but
ever
but here's the
created.
thing, though: if you watch
Mr.
Futurama,
Brown.
and then you watch something like Archer or Bob's Burgers or South Park or any of the new current
Ish,
generation
yeah.
of grown up animated shows. You can, if you go back and you watch old Simpsons, old Futurama, The Critic, things like that, they feel like they were one evolutionary step back.
Oh yeah, they're
not bad.
There are different rungs.
Not bad.
Yeah, and it's because you can see them sort of still clinging to the rules.
Absolutely.
You know, and so like the Tim Burton Batman, I love it. It's one of my all-time favorite movies.
It's a childhood favorite.
But it's very much.
Formula.
It's very well. Not so much a formula as well. Yeah, I suppose. But it's a very rule-based. It's a summer superhero action movie blockbuster. These are the things that we're gonna do. This is the girl that it's Kim Basinger as Vicky
I was about to say
Vale.
Vicky Vale of your life.
Well, this was also
very very influential for my young life. Yeah,
this was also before.
Is that what we're calling it?
It was also before superhero movies were like really a thing.
Right.
That's true. Before they became theme park rides,
exactly.
like they are now. But so I guess another thing for me with the differentiation of the Jokers is how for me it's like apples and oranges. I just appreciate them for what they are. So it's funny to watch you guys be so diametrically opposed. It's great. So to that end, like, do you guys, another thing to think about the Joker is that Jack Nicholson's version is super theatrical and he loves putting on a scene, and so does Heath Ledger's version, but in a different way.
In a completely different way.
One movie has music by Prince.
Yeah.
Yes.
And look how great it is.
It's so awesome.
It's so perfect.
Bat dance.
So, and I love that they got Jack Nicholson to do that. So, because he's usually such a serious actor, like, and he's so either angry or
3-time Oscar winner.
Yeah. Well, I think it probably helped that he ended up being the highest paid actor in the history of acting because of that movie.
Yeah.
He made. It was after the back because he got a percentage of the back end
After inflation.
Yeah, at the time it was something like $80 million.
Holy crap!
Because it was like the Cary Grants and stuff who really started that in old Hollywood, but then you had like the Burt Reynolds, and then you move on to like the Kevin Costners.
Yeah.
But Jack Nicholson, was a record smasher when it came to making the most money out of any given picture.
Yeah.
Well, with superhero movies back then, you kind of had to have a big marketable actor in order to get people to see it, because again, they weren't a thing.
They weren't popular yet.
So with Superman the movie, you got Marlon Brando's in this movie and Christopher Reeve, and then
Gene Hackman.
And Gene Hackman. And then Batman's coming out. It's got Jack Nicholson and Michael Keaton, the guy from Mr. Mom.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just hilarious because I love that Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson wound up in white face makeup and purple costumes.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Funny how that works out.
Yeah.
Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice. Life comes at you.
So my question for you guys is like how not just the theatrics but their sense of humor as Jokers. So let's debate this because Heath Ledger to me knocks me as kind of like a Negan sort of character where he's going to make you laugh against your will.
Yeah.
Where he has moments where he's about to kill Batman with his knife, and then Commissioner Gordon gets him by the head with his gun, and he's like, "Can I just have a minute?" Like, and so
just a minute,
he
please.
has a moment where Jack Nicholson's humor is a little more outlandish and a little more clownish.
Yes.
So go for it.
You can start.
You want me to take this one first?
Discuss.
So I think the reason why Alyssa and I are on the sides that we're on is it's based on the type of humor that we actually have.
Yes.
Anybody who like really knows me, obviously you know me better than anybody. I have a really
lifers.
Oh shucks. Jesus Christ. I have a really dark fucked up sense of humor.
Which, if you've ever seen this man, he's like the darkest looking,
I'm so dark
son of a bitch you've ever seen.
I'm so dark and angsty.
You're very emo.
I listen to Blink 182 in my basement and put my eyeliner on.
His favorite song is Stabby Rib Stab Stab. Anyway, go ahead with your point, Adam.
It's called Cradle of Filth.
I have a very like dark, fucked up sense of humor. And I feel like Heath Ledger's style of humor kind of digs more into my personal funny bone, because when he makes a joke, it's like, should I laugh at that? Or it's kind of fucked up. But me, I watch that movie, and every time I watch it, I find a new line or a new nuance that Heath Ledger does that makes me laugh because it's so morbid or fucked up. And his jokes, his humor is kind of subtle. Like there's an 18-wheeler truck.
It's almost Charlie Chaplin.
It's
humor.
almost
a little bit.
Charlie Chaplin
by
mixed
the
with
way,
death.
is his favorite comedian of all time.
And the reason why I like Heath Ledger's Joker is he's like, let me show you a magic trick. And I'm like, that's something the Joker would say. But the magic trick is putting a pencil in someone's eyeball.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to drive a semi-truck that says laughter on the side, but spray paint an S and make it slaughter. Or I'm gonna hold Rachel out the window, and when Batman says, let her go, very poor choice of words, lets her go out the window to kill her.
Yeah.
Heath Ledger's Joker isn't, I'm a clown here to make you laugh. It's, I'm going to fuck you up and you're going to die and the world's going to see what's wrong with society. And
Christopher Nolan goes, he makes it very clear that the Joker is doing it to amuse himself.
He's doing it to amuse himself.
And the scene that I reference there is whenever he's walking away from the hospital waiting for the bomb to go off.
That was ad-libbed.
Ad-libbed. Yeah. The bomb actually didn't go off. And
so he's sitting there banging.
And so he's banging the detonator, and that's Heath Ledger was like, "I'm just going to keep doing this because if it explodes, we only have one take to do this. So I'm just going to keep staying in character." But him dressing like the nurse was probably the most reminiscent thing of like an old school Joker.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, and I think the first funny moment that the Joker even has is because he, first of all, I will tell you this, Darby. Not that we're doling out specific points, but the Joker pulls off one of the best movie heists that I enjoy watching.
Yeah.
Over and over
the
and over
opening
again.
scene.
It's such a great heist.
Whatever doesn't kill you makes you stranger.
But the first funny moment that I think that he has is when he's ripping off all the mafiosos and he's telling them, "Oh, we need to kill the Batman."
You think I want to go back to ripping off mob dealers?
No.
No.
That's later. But, so he's in the room with the mafiosos, and he's being a little racist against Gamble. So that's kind of crazy. He's a little weird in that sense. But he's backing away, and he's got the grenades in his jacket. And he's like, let's not blow this out of proportion.
Let's not blow this out of proportion.
That's kind of typical Joker right there.
Yes.
That was
But
Joker-ish.
They were like, oh, you just expect us to let you walk out of here? And he goes,
Yeah.
It's
my favorite
I laughed when
every
that happened.
time.
I was like, people, because I saw this in the theater. I'm assuming everybody else did as
Yes.
well.
I think,
Yes.
I laughed and I was like, everyone else is gonna think I'm such a psycho for laughing at the Joker. But he was funny. He makes you laugh when you don't want to.
That's the thing. And you know what? With my this may go into my own mindset. As I watch that movie and I get older, I start agreeing with Heath Ledger more and more every time he speaks.
Yikes.
Well,
because his ideals are they're kind of in the right place.
I mean, it goes back to what you were saying about he's bringing out the flaws in society.
He makes jokes about the flaws in humanity.
Now, actually, let us now take a break.
And we'll get back to
and we will
let
get back
Alyssa
to that.
counterpoint.
And we'll let Alyssa give us our rebuttal.
Let's talk some more about Jack Nicholson.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because I love me some
Bring
Jack
it.
Nicholson.
Bring
All right,
it.
so we are going to be back in about 1 second. And we're back.
Woo!
You know what this episode is painfully lacking?
What's that, Jason?
Mr. Brown.
Oh.
Mr.
Somewhere his little heart is breaking.
You've forgotten him already. He's the guy who usually sits next to you. Here, Alyssa, would you help us out? There's if you look over there,
yes.
there's a prop.
I'm confused. What's happening?
Oh, old Adam. Yes.
Once again, who?
There we go. There we
Okay.
go.
Oh,
There we go.
It's
that
vaguely
guy.
familiar.
Okay.
Vaguely.
Again, why do you have this?
Because I've got one of everyone that I
Excellent
know.
question.
What do you do with us when we're not here, Jason? My God.
I don't want to know.
You have to
Mr.
talk
Brown.
to somebody.
You know, Dr. Krieger.
Oh, Higley. Oh, Jadely.
Get in there.
Oh, no.
God knows you've earned it.
Darkly. I'm
So-
so very afraid.
The star of The Shining,
Jack Nicholson.
Chinatown.
Yes.
Let's get back
two
into it.
Jakes.
So
What was that werewolf movie he was in?
Wolf.
Oh, Wolf. Okay.
Well done.
Okay.
So we were in the midst of a rebuttal because Darby was telling us how Heath Ledger's sense of humor comes through as his version of the Joker. So Alyssa, I'm assuming that Jack Nicholson's sense of humor as the Joker comes through as part of the reason why you like him so much. So tell us about that.
So I'm a lot less dark than Adam is. I like a good prank. I like some good campy humor, and I, unlike Adam, actually grew up on the Adam West TV show.
Here.
Aww.
Yes. My dad showed me the TV show. So I grew up with like Cesar Romero as like the Joker when I was a kid. So when I got older, seeing a darker version of the Joker, but he still did like the funny like buzzer tricks and the gun that goes bang and stuff like that. That just tickles my fancy.
Which
personally.
was a big part of Joker in the comics too.
Yes. Yes.
Not so much originally, but that became like, having playing cards that
Exactly, the
flick at
shtick.
people. Yeah. He had a lot of art to it.
Yes.
And it was, I think, one of the things with the difference between Jack Nicholson and Heath Ledger is that with Jack Nicholson, it was a Tim Burton thing. He was you couldn't conceive of ever actually meeting that Joker.
No.
Heath Ledger,
You're
one
not
of the
going to run
reasons
into
why,
him at Walmart.
but Heath Ledger could totally happen.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
But Jack Nicholson was, he wasn't. He was.
There you go. Jack Nicholson was what?
Oh, that's cute.
Hi,
that's
Mr.
nice.
Brown.
Hi.
Jack Nicholson was he was much more Tim Burton construction.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, look who followed him in the second movie. It was
Tim Burton cut him out of construction paper for sure.
Danny DeVito as the Penguin.
Penguin
The
and
Penguin.
Michelle
Penguin.
Pfeiffer as
Michelle
Catwoman.
Pfeiffer, yeah.
The best Catwoman. But
The
Joker.
only Catwoman. My God.
let's be real,
Eartha
the
Kitt.
only. Eartha Kitt
was
Eartha
great.
Kitt was
right.
good.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
If we're going back to the
That's-
Adam West show,
you're
yeah.
absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Eartha Kitt. My bad.
Mayor
I take it-
West. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, she
Yeah.
banged Chevy Chase on
I
that
was
plane.
about
one
to say
time.
that. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing.
Do
When
it.
when the Tim Burton Batman movie came out, the only live action Joker that people had to reference before Jack Nicholson was Cesar Romero, really.
Yes.
True.
So they had to sort of take a spin on that and then make it cater to the darkness of Tim Burton's style of film.
Even though, in a sense, there was an actor who played the Joker before Cesar Romero.
Intrigue.
Okay. Oh, the serials, right?
Nope.
No?
Well, maybe.
Maybe,
Yeah,
maybe.
but
Okay.
maybe. But
Anyway.
Joker's image was actually based on an actual person. And
Really?
somebody get your phone on and look up The Man Who Laughed.
I'm looking.
It's not a horror movie, but it's this very existential German movie. And there's a character in it. I can't remember the name of the actor, but the character has this
Man who laughs.
laughs. The Man Who Laughs.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
And I've
Yeah.
seen this before. A lot of you're gonna recognize it when you see it, hindsighters.
Oh my goodness.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah. The
Yeah, let's see.
inspiration.
Let's
Yeah.
see. Here, hold it up to the camera. You'll
Yeah,
see it there.
yeah.
The inspiration for the Joker.
That's the Joker.
Mm-hmm.
That
That
is exactly
is.
where the Joker.
That's where it came from.
Exciting times. That is frightening because I mean it's a pretty frightening countenance to look at. It's kind of like the Scream face. It's something that sticks with you even if you don't. Even when you see the movie Scream, you don't necessarily think about the painting. Where the
Right,
person
yeah.
is
Munch.
silently,
Yeah.
you don't really
with
necessarily
Morty
link them
doing like
together.
this. and-
Everything comes
a
from
great
something.
version.
Yeah.
Everything is inspired by something.
It's all derivative.
Right. Yes.
Yes.
It's like poetry. It rhymes.
Speaking of poetry, let's talk about romance with the Joker. So, one of the things that differentiates the two Jokers quite a bit is his sense of romance. With Heath Ledger, there's not much of one. He sort of has the story about his wife, and he kind of, claws up on Rachel a little bit to get under Harvey's skin.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then with Jack Nicholson, however,
Who
he's
should have been Billy D. Williams? Just
she-
saying.
oh my God, Billy D.
Well,
Lando.
that was Harvey Dent Two-Face, but yeah.
But
Yes.
but my question, because Harvey Dent in the Tim Burton version is
Yeah.
honorable. He's like a C-list character. He barely
Yeah.
makes
Yeah,
an
yeah,
appearance.
yeah.
Lando barely makes an appearance.
Lando
which is-
Calrissian plays Harvey Dent. Yes.
Yes, he
Yes,
does.
yes.
He's defending Cloud.
By the
City.
way, the first time ever a comic book movie changed the race of a comic book character, Billy D. Williams.
Really?
As Harvey Dent. Yeah.
we have too
Yeah.
much of a
See,
shared brain.
see, Billy D.
Billy
Billy
D's
D.
the man, though.
He is
so.
the man.
He is. He's
Yeah.
Lando.
He's Lando.
If anybody's gonna change a race of a comic book character, it's gonna be
he was Sam Jackson before there was a Sam Jackson.
Oh yeah.
That's why on Scrubs they even have him along. He's like Mandy Moore's godfather or something, and JD is like, "Oh my god, it's Lando," and he goes, "My name is Billy D. Billy D.
Billy D.
Whatever you say,
name.
Lando. Whatever you say."
Yeah, exactly. No, they do that to him the whole time, and he's like, "Be quiet, Lando. Be quiet." Like,
Quiet,
it's
Lando.
So great. But
Poor Billy.
Have you gotten to the episode of Community where Geordie LaForge?
Yes,
Okay.
LeVar Burton.
LeVar Burton.
Where he
Jesus.
shows up and Donald
Yeah.
Glover's is like,
Yeah.
Reading Rainbow.
More salmon for Kunta.
"Take a look. It's in
Reading Rainbow.
And he's having a mental. "I told Chevy Chase that I wanted a picture. You can't disappoint a picture." So yes, I've gotten there.
Good.
But anyway, so
It would be really weird if you hadn't.
and I still knew that.
Yeah, that's fair.
That would be
And I was
right.
crying to Reading Rainbow. But so the romantic antics, as it were, for the Joker, because with Jack Nicholson, he's almost a Pepe Le Pew, but with a sinister side. So talk about that a little bit, guys.
Take
You
thy
go
beat
first,
from
'cause-
out my heart. Yeah.
There's much more to go with Jack Nicholson, so you take this first.
Another rooster in
I
the hen house.
mean, he's a lot.
It's Jack Nicholson.
I was about to
He
say,
definitely.
I think that's how he would woo in real life.
Oh,
where
probably.
He's like a
Yeah.
fucking Jack Nicholson.
But the weird thing is, though, is that Jack Nicholson, anytime that he's doing anything romantic, he's acting opposite Kim Basinger's Vicky Vale,
Yes.
who screams, I think, like 75 times in the movie.
Oh yeah.
And
mean,
faints once, along with what's the mobster girlfriend? What's her
I
name?
can't remember what
Where
her
he
name
spits
is.
the acid in her face from his
Yeah.
little.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah,
yeah.
You want to make an omelet, you got to break a few eggs.
Boom.
Yeah.
She throws herself off the roof. But what Josh pointed out to me while we were watching this movie, he's like, "God, you know what I freaking hate in movies is how they portray women as fainting goats. Like y'all get shocked and you just fall over."
Yeah. with between Margot Kidder as Lois Lane and Vicky Vale, like women just screamed in old superhero movies. That's all they did.
Yeah.
They were the Bellas
Ooh,
of the Twilight.
Margot Kidder.
Luckily, we've advanced.
Margot Kidder.
That was a pretty good
Margot Kidder.
reference for him.
Margot Kidder.
I love Margot Kidder as Lois
We'll
Lane,
give
but
them
yeah.
a moment. So anyway, the romanticism of the Joker.
The
Alyssa.
romanticism of the Joker for Jack Nicholson is that he comes on very strong. Not
like Pepe Le Pew
yeah,
style.
yeah, Pepe Le Pew style, yes. Not that is what I'm into. I promise.
Another
but
rooster in the hen.
Yes.
In-house.
In the hen house. Another rooster.
Dang.
Another rooster in the hen house.
For those of you young people who don't know that reference,
Yes.
How do you think eggs
So-
get made?
yeah.
Exactly. So I kind of like it though. I kind of like that he comes on strong to.
If I had a
to
nickel for every
Vicky.
time I heard that.
I kind of like it though. No, I kind of like the juxtaposition and like that's his way of trying to get under Batman's skin a little bit. I feel
no, because he doesn't know who Batman is.
that's true. That's true.
true.
That's true.
Whereas Heath
So-
Ledger doesn't actually know that Bruce Wayne is Batman either.
Wayne
Like,
is
Yeah.
Yeah,
Freak.
both of them don't know.
because we were talking about
Yeah, that's
goals
true.
earlier in the episode about what the Joker's goal is.
Right.
So
Yeah.
with
Right.
Nicholson, I think you Jason said that he has more of a clear goal, and I disagree with that because with Nicholson, I think he's clearly trying to poison the entire city, but
Yeah.
to what end? Like, what is he
Yeah.
going to do with that?
Right.
Whereas
I think
Heath
it's like with
Ledger,
laughing gas, just
Yeah.
to make everybody look at it just as like,
just as
I think he
gas-
just,
Whatever
he
it
just wants to
is,
kill as many.
yeah.
He wants to amuse himself.
yeah.
No,
Yeah.
that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
It just-
Alyssa said it best. He's a dog running off leash, and Heath Ledger says something similar about himself. He's like, "I'm just a dog,
chasing
cars.
cars."
I wouldn't know what to do if I caught one, you know."
Yeah.
I get it. I don't know what to do when I catch one.
But
Yeah.
that's not true though, because with
Yeah.
him the gears are always turning.
Yeah.
And he's
He
more-
always
Yeah.
is thinking the next step.
He's
I
more
think Jack
manipulative.
Nicholson just doesn't think about the
Well-
next step. He's like, "Huh, this would be funny."
Well, it's the difference between a movie where you're trying to make a comic book into a movie as opposed to Dark Knight where you're trying to make a movie that's based on a comic book.
Yeah.
True.
You know.
Here's to brief before I jump into a point to briefly touch on the romantic aspect. There's a really cool nuance though where Heath Ledger, when Rachel interrupts during the party, when Joker pops into the party at Wayne.
Okay, stop.
she's like, okay, stop. And then he looks at her and he slicks back his hair first.
Yes.
And he goes,
Yes.
well,
You were gonna bring that up.
well, hello, beautiful. Like,
I had a
They
wife who was
both
beautiful,
come on.
like you, and like he goes
Like
out of his
you.
way to kind of hit on her a
Yeah.
little bit.
yeah, and I like that. You got a little fight in you. I
you
like
must
that.
be
I like
Harvey's
that.
squeeze. Like
You must be Harvey's new squeeze.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's really the extent of Heath Ledger's romanticism in that film. But yeah, to kind of go off of what you were saying, like Tim Burton's movie is very much a comic book put on film.
Yes.
Whereas Nolan is trying to take Batman, which is a comic book property, and throw him into the real world.
Right. Yes.
So it's very grounded in reality. It's basically what if Batman and the Joker were put in our world?
right.
So yeah, there's a huge difference in tone here.
Yeah, because both Jokers have the same end in one sense, the fact that they're trying to get Batman to take off his mask.
Yes.
Yeah.
Both of them are trying to
Yes.
accomplish that.
And both of them are also, both Jokers, Heath Ledger and Jack Nicholson, they don't give a shit about money.
They
no,
don't.
They don't. And also, too,
Ultimately,
remember
no.
with Jack Nicholson's Batman, he doesn't like Batman because Batman gets attention, and
More than he does.
because what the best line that the Joker has in all of Tim Burton.
This
you
town
yeah.
needs an Emma.
Well, that one.
Wait till they get a load of me.
that one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait till they get a load
winged
of me.
freak.
Well, and that's the
Yeah,
thing too
when
that I
they get a
noticed
load of
is
me.
that with the first with Jack Nicholson's Joker, he's not necessarily mad at Batman until the end because
Yeah.
you would think that
Right.
his whole revenge plot would be, oh well, you're the one who made me, I'm your Frankenstein's monster kind of thing. But no, what he's initially pissed about, like you said, Jason, is that Batman is stealing his headlines.
He took
He's
his
getting
balloons.
his attention.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He took his balloons.
and
Yeah.
that's why I'm saying
Yeah.
he's psychotic versus Heath Ledger's, sociopathic.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
because Jack Nicholson reacts with emotion like
Yeah.
a little kid, and he's like, he took my balloons. Why didn't anybody tell me that he's got one of those
Things.
Like,
Where
it's an
does he
airplane.
get those wonderful
It's
toys?
it is the gangster prankster versus the schizophrenic anarchist.
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly. No,
Yeah.
that's a.
And
that's
can we
abs-
all just agree though that Jack Nicholson and Heath Ledger are both better than Bane?
Oh God!
Oh,
everybody's
yeah.
better than
Oh,
Bane.
yeah.
Alfred
Well,
is
which-
better than
which-
Bane.
which-
Michael Caine is better than
Which
Bane.
which
My God.
Bane are we referring to here?
Tom Hardy, as
either-
much as I hate to say it.
Yeah, either.
I like Tom
Either.
Hardy's Bane, but yeah, both Jokers are
Yeah.
miles better.
I think that Tom Hardy's Bane had the best of intentions. It's just that, like, somehow he came out sounding like Sean Connery talking into a bean can, and
Shaken not stirred.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't
It
know
just-
what it was with the
Armor
effects.
drip shirting.
Something.
See, and there's where the
And I
divide
adore
is.
Tom Hardy. That's
Oh,
how you know
yeah,
that
no.
hurt
I
me
love
to even
Tom
say
Hardy. Yeah,
that.
Tom Hardy's great.
He's an amazing actor.
There's where the divide is when it comes to Bane. We've also had this conversation. I like Meathead Bane. I
Great.
I like him
prefer
fine.
Meathead Bane.
Yeah.
But then again,
Wait, you mean the one from Batman and Robin?
Yes, as in the Bane bomb.
I think both Banes
I
have
love him.
both Banes have issues. Both Banes have problems.
Yes,
They
neither
both have
one is
technical
what we would call well adjusted.
Yes.
No.
Yes, Bane's not going to hold down a normal job.
Yeah.
They're about as different as the Jokers because
Yeah.
you have like a Bane who was like
yeah.
cartoonishly created with Acme
Yeah.
syrup
Yup.
from a laboratory.
We could
And then
just revisit that whole movie.
You really could, and then
Oh,
you have
God.
Tom
Really
Hardy's
could.
Bane, who's like this ideological,
Yeah.
brainwashed child. And
yeah, he's not a
I
bad
was
character.
born in the
No.
darkness.
yeah, he's
exactly.
he's not a bad character. I mean, the actual story, a lot of people kind of, crap on The Dark Knight Rises.
It's fine.
It's the
I-
least.
It's a good movie.
It's the-
I like it, and I actually like the social commentary. And
Yeah, I don't mind it.
Yeah, I
It's
think
just-
it actually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
of the three,
Yeah.
it's not the
I
strongest.
think Batman
Well-
Begins and The Dark Knight are much better films
They
than
are.
Dark
Well,
Knight
especially
Rises.
with
Yeah.
all the drama that
Yeah.
surrounds the Dark Knight. So let's talk on the lore of the Dark Knight for a second, because supposedly, and I've never been able to substantiate this, but the story behind the Dark Knight is that Heath Ledger was selected to be Joker.
Oh, I was pissed when it happened.
Oh, so was I, because I was like, the guy from Knight's Tale and 10 Things I Hate
Oh.
About You? Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
couldn't,
that's how I felt.
couldn't see it. in
So
my
the
mind.
That's how I felt.
because the end of Batman Begins, Commissioner Gordon hands Batman the Joker playing
Right,
card,
yeah.
and you're like, holy shit, Joker's going to be in the next Batman
Yes.
movie.
Yeah.
And so we were waiting for 2-3 years.
Yeah, it took a while.
And they announced Heath Ledger, and I was like, "Are you serious? The pretty boy from Knight's Tale and Brokeback Mountain is playing the Joker?"
That's kind of how I felt about Rob Pattinson being announced as the new Batman.
I'm giving him a chance because
I am too now. I've seen the trailer.
I was insulting Ben Affleck, and then Ben Affleck ended up being a pretty good Batman, even though the movies
I never even saw
sucked.
his,
the movies are terrible.
The movies were bad. I haven't seen. I kind of want to see the extended.
Cut. The Snyder cut. Yeah,
have you seen it?
I've seen the trailer.
Okay, yeah, I want to see it just to see could it be any better.
Who knows? That Justice League movie was a mess.
It was terrible,
but before
when Heath Ledger was announced as the Joker, I pulled my friends aside in the cafeteria and I was like, guys.
Oh, he was in school.
I was like, I was in school. I was in the cafeteria ranting about how Heath Ledger should not be the Joker.
Yeah, I was at the Social Security office and I got so mad.
I was at Denny's because it was 5 p.m. No, so when Heath Ledger was announced, I was kind of pissed about that. In the same sort of vein as Rob Pattinson being announced.
Fair. But you have to go back to the 80s, like when Michael Keaton was announced as Batman, Beetlejuice, Mr. Mom as Batman.
Yeah, that would have been weird.
That was an extremely bold
Tell
choice.
us about that, old man.
Yeah,
yes.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
Where were you?
I remember. Look, I saw it in the theater.
No.
You saw Batman '89 in the theater?
Yeah.
I was -3.
I not only did I see it in the theater, I made my poor mom had to go to every store when the toys came out. I had to have the Batmobile, and I still have that Batmobile.
Oh, hell yeah!
I love the classic Batmobile.
Can you take a picture of it and send it to me?
Yeah, we'll do. In fact, it's got the.
That'll be nighttime entertainment for him.
Because in Batman, how he presses the button and the shield comes up.
Yes.
And the toy has a shield thing just like that.
No way.
No, what it is a piece of plastic that you put on top of it.
Oh.
You just flop it on top.
Drop it on.
You pretend to press the button
But it
and then
was
just put it
awesome.
down.
Drop it.
But it was
Drop it on
nowhere
top.
near as cool as the Batwing toy.
Oh,
See, that's the thing. We don't get toys anymore. I would be buying this shit.
Excuse me. I
don't
brought
play
my
with toys
toy
anymore.
dinosaur to our Jurassic
Yeah,
Park filming. Thank you very much.
that- That was all right.
I mean, I love
it's
that.
No,
Shut
it's
the
no
hell up.
Batwing.
She's awesome.
Kids don't play with toys
I
anymore.
have a pop doll, Jeff Goldblum. That
Is it the laying down one?
Yes. Yeah,
that's exactly what
that's the
it
best
is.
one.
The
Mr. Brown wasn't
Batwing,
happy
the
about that.
Batwing
It's like
toy.
$100 on eBay now.
Yeah, the Batwing toy even has a thing where you press the button, and remember how he grabbed the balloons and then he sliced it.
Yeah.
It actually has that, and you.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
That's baller.
that was awesome.
It has one of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, well,
Things. The thing.
Okay,
Where does
so
he get-
before we forget the lore factor of when Heath
Data's
Ledger
brother?
was, shut up, Jason.
He was the bad Data.
I'm gonna hit you. Before the movie had come out, when we heard that Heath Ledger was gonna be Joker, and that was a thing. What I heard happened, and once again, I've never been able to substantiate, is the fact that Heath Ledger apparently
Your sources told you this.
Apparently, my sources apparently Heath Ledger approached Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, he did.
And basically asked him for advice on how to play the Joker. And I think there was a little bit of...
He did it better.
Well,
Oh.
but Jack Nicholson, I think there was a little bit of pissiness going on, a little resentment because he wasn't selected to be the Joker again, and he's around.
Why would he be selected to be?
I don't think so.
Because he's a gem.
That's what I'm saying. I've never been able to.
I don't see
It's
Jack
all
Nicholson
rumor.
thinking.
It just goes to show that Heath Ledger had an appreciation for Jack Nicholson.
That's as crazy as saying that Harrison Ford would still want to play Indiana Jones or Han Solo.
Or how
It's
he's
absurd.
still,
Yeah.
or how
Yeah.
John McClane is still being played by some guy.
How old was Heath Ledger when the '89 movie came out? He probably grew up with Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure he did. Yeah.
Because Heath
But
Ledger
in
was
Australia,
about
though, so it was dubbed.
Yeah.
like Mel Gibson.
Yeah,
in
everyone
that.
Australia.
Like Mel Gibson and Mad Max.
Crikey, Batman.
Did you watch Mad
No,
Max for the first time?
I did watch Mad Max for the first time while I
I
was
need to show.
babysitting
I need to show this one the Mad Max
Jason's
movies.
dog.
Yes, Darth babysat
Sid this
Sid the
weekend.
Wonder Dog.
Very
Yes.
young Mel Gibson.
Ooh.
Nice.
This little bitty dog, he's so
Yeah.
cool, and we watched Mad Max together.
Oh, very cool.
It was
Super cute.
Yeah.
Mel, your blue eyes. I mostly focus on your thighs, but Mel, those eyes of yours.
But
Forget about
no,
them.
but it's serious though. Whenever I was a kid and they would play it on USA, Mad Max, and it was
He
the
was
TV
dubbed.
cut and it was dubbed because like Australian was just too much.
That's too complicated.
Honestly, this is controversial opinion. You can skip Mad Max and watch Road Warrior.
Oh, totally.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Honestly, the second one's the only one you need
Yeah.
to watch
Well,
out of the old
I'm
ones.
not gonna lie.
Or get a little high and watch Thunderdome.
Thunderdome with Tina Turner.
Yeah,
Mad
yeah.
Max, I'm not gonna lie, kind of reminds me of
Master Blaster.
Death Race 2000 because there's
Yeah.
not a whole lot of rhyme or reason as to why this dystopian
No.
future happened.
No.
But people are running each other over with their motorcycles and their cars.
Well,
and
that
it's
was just what was happening in Australia at the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the
Oh, that
80s.
was
Yeah,
just
in the
like
80s,
commentary
yes.
on
Yeah.
Australia. Got it.
Mel.
Back to Batman.
Oh, Mel, I'll follow you anywhere. But yeah, so the lore is that Heath Ledger went to Jack Nicholson and approached him asking for advice on how to play the Joker. And Jack Nicholson basically told him to not let it get in his head. He said it can really sink in there. So just, be mindful of that. And as we all know,
Wow.
Oh,
Heath Ledger.
jeez.
Yeah.
And like I said, I've never substantiated it. It's all
That's
rumor.
ironic.
Hindsight, it's all
Wow.
rumor. So that being said, when Heath Ledger died, because he was on uppers and downers, and to the basically where his central
was.
nervous system just like met in the
Collapsed.
middle and shut down.
Yeah.
So that's how he passed away, which was epically tragic. It was horrible. It was before the
Well,
movie even premiered.
Yeah,
and
it was,
Heath
yeah.
Ledger died before the movie came out.
Yeah, that's
those
what I'm saying.
humans,
I think
yeah.
they were in post because they had
Yeah.
to work.
They were in
because
post-production.
they had to do
Uh-huh.
some workarounds.
He died in January of 08, and the movie came out in the summer of 08.
Because the movie leads off with Heath Ledger dangling because in the Jack Nicholson version,
Yes.
spoilers, Jack Nicholson's
It's a
Joker
31-year-old
dies.
movie.
Yeah,
He
If you haven't
dies,
seen
but
it.
then in true Jack Nicholson Joker style fashion, he dies, but his
Yeah.
dead body has a laughing box
Yeah.
in his pocket.
Which is so great. Such a
Which
great way to
continues
go.
laughing.
makes you
He
think
wanted to
that-
go out laughing.
Which
Yeah.
makes you think that
Yes.
Pat Hingle, like Commissioner Gordon's going to get blown up when he pulls that
Yeah.
out of his
Right?
jacket. You think that
I,
something
Yeah,
I
exactly.
loved him as Commissioner Gordon.
Are you serious?
I love Pat Hingle.
Pat Hingle is Commissioner Gordon?
Yes, I
Pat
mean,
Hingle
look,
all day.
Look, Gary Oldman is obviously better.
Oh,
It
no,
makes
Gary
no
Oldman
sense to
undisputed
have
better.
no offense, but it makes no sense to have an out of shape.
Nostalgia.
But that was in the TV. That was a
Okay,
nod to
but
the
it
TV
is-
series.
Yes.
I guess so.
Commissioner Gordon in the
You're
TV
right. On the
series-
Adam
one we
West
grew
show,
up
he was
with.
out of shape.
Yes.
yeah.
He was
Commission-
completely useless in the TV
Yes,
show.
which is why shameless plug of one of my favorite virtual theaters of all time, Star Kid. They made a musical called Holy Musical
Holy
Batman.
Musical Batman. It's amazing.
It's the best.
Go on YouTube, watch Holy
And-
Musical Batman.
yes.
It's amazing.
Plug it. I love you guys. If you want to reach out to me, like, please do, because I'm obsessed with you. It's fine. But they have a woman play Commissioner Gordon dressed as a
So
man,
great.
and his catchphrase is "I'm such a boob."
Oh, Batman.
Love it.
It's great.
So she's
So-
basically
Because he is.
So hold on, let me finish the lore story. My God.
Sorry.
The point
She's
of the
obsessed
story.
with Data's
Continue.
brother.
It's like me trying to do the damn synopsis. So
Oh, yeah. Synopsis.
Heath Ledger did approach Jack Nicholson. He said,
He did.
"Don't let the Joker role get into your head." That's all I have to say.
That's so
So the
sad.
morning that it was announced that Heath Ledger had passed away in his hotel, they reporters went to Jack Nicholson's home and were like, "Oh, Mr. Mr. Nicholson, like, what do you have to say about Heath Ledger dying?" And he was like, "I told him."
Yeah.
It
And
was-
that's the story.
Yeah.
I've once
I
again, I've
remember
never
that.
I could see it.
substantiated.
I
but-
remember that. He didn't quite say it like super coldly. Like he was sad, but like, yeah, he did say, I told him.
He was
Yeah.
like, I tried to
Yeah.
warn the
I
kid.
tried
But
to
yeah,
warn
he
him.
wasn't an ass about it or anything. But
To
he
give a
tried to tell him.
little background, Heath Ledger what he did was he had a family at the time.
Yes.
And he
Yes.
locked
Off
himself
Dawson's River.
he locked himself in a hotel room, and he would do nothing but read dark Batman comics like Killing Joke and things about the Joker, the darker stuff that they came out, the
Death of
R-rated
the
stuff.
Family, Death of the Family.
Death of the Family. He would watch Clockwork Orange, and what he did, like dark stuff, he would just watch weird dark stuff, and he would take a journal and write in
Yeah, he
character
journaled.
as the Joker. And he practiced his
haven't heard.
mannerisms, he practiced his voice, the way he walked, the way he moved, who he was. And he got so
like
in-
alone in this
When he
hotel.
went
Try
into
acting,
this-
it's easier.
when he, yeah,
My
for
dear
real.
boy,
No,
why
no,
don't you
like,
simply try?
When he
Yeah.
went into this hotel room, he was only the Joker, and it got so bad that he
Yeah.
couldn't sleep. Thus, the
Prescription
sleeping.
medication.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
the
sleeping
uppers,
medication.
the downers.
Well, I was about
and
to
then
say it's not
alcohol.
just sleep, yeah, because it was a mixture of all three.
He went very method.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did, and part of that too is just that, you try to get into a role and you want to make it so iconic, and he did.
Yeah.
But that
won that Oscar.
That affected other. Because wasn't he one of the post? One of the
posthumous
few
Oscars.
I don't know if there's been anyone else.
I was
who
about
got
to say, wasn't
He might be one of the few.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody else did.
One of the few.
Google
Yeah.
it, hindsighters.
Yeah.
Prove us right or wrong. We don't.
The
care.
only other Philip Seymour Hoffman won his Oscars while he was
that
alive.
was-
While he
still
was alive, yeah.
Okay, so
another
Heath Ledger might
tragedy.
very well be the only one.
Yeah, I think so. But they had to change the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus so that Colin Farrell and Johnny Depp could continue on the role.
Yeah,
of
that
Dr.
movie.
Parnassus.
There was one movie that he died during. Yeah.
No, that's what I'm saying is that Colin Farrell and
yeah.
Johnny Depp had to rearrange and play that role for the throughout the movie so that they could complete it.
Oh,
Because
they
Ledger-
wrote in the script that he's like Doctor Who, where he changes appearance
They had to do that
because Heath Ledger died.
Yes.
Okay,
So
makes sense.
that was a
Yeah.
thing because he was married to Michelle
Williams.
from Dawson's Creek.
So sad.
So
Yeah.
on a lighter note.
Oh right.
Okay.
Let's,
So
Lighten it up.
we are, okay, you're a director, you're an executive producer. You can cast anyone you want to play Joker, alive, dead, acting still, in their prime, whatever.
Oh God.
But it can't be Jack Nicholson or Heath Ledger or Mark Hamill.
Any of the people who have played
Anybody
Let's
who's
just
played
not
the
come up with
Joker.
Who's
somebody
already
fresh.
played.
The animated live action
yes.
off the table.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I will start off because I was actually thinking this whenever we were talking about him earlier, Dustin Hoffman.
Oh wow.
I think Dustin Hoffman would actually play.
But we'd run into
Are we-
another situation of my dear boy. Why don't you simply try?
It would be
acting?
the end of Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah, it would
okay,
be.
but that's my
Which
vote.
now are we choosing like
Oh,
an era of the actor,
Like
how old they
late
were?
70s,
Late
like
70s?
Tootsie era, Marathon Man.
Marathon
you
Man.
know,
He's not.
yeah.
He's not making you stick to that stipulation. That's what.
Yeah,
he's
that's
saying.
just that's
He's
my
his-
Dustin
Oh,
Hoffman.
so
yeah,
his
yeah,
stipulation.
yeah.
Living or
No,
dead,
anything.
anytime.
You
No,
can
if
pick
you want
anybody.
if you want Humphrey Bogart to play him.
I asked
That's-
because
yeah.
I have
Yeah.
a stipulation. I have two stipulations.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Oh my.
Okay, so that's a great answer. I have two answers, and they're very quick. I would go to 1978 Mork and Mindy era Robin Williams.
Yes, holy.
He
I
stole
think-
my initial answer. I'm not even kidding. You stole
Really?
my yes.
Oh, air five.
Talk about getting in his head though.
I honestly think late 70s Robin Williams would have been a great
Yes.
Joker.
But younger, especially
Robin
when he was on the
Williams.
coke and like
Mork and Mindy when he
ow.
was full of energy in his prime. Yes.
But that was a very positive Robin Williams.
Oh,
you know?
well, yeah.
That was
Well,
a-
that was because
He
of
would
the
probably
Brother
that
Law.
was-
She was
for
there.
that
kind of
the
Joker.
comic-y.
It's kind of like
Yeah.
saying how from Airplane,
Leslie
Leslie Nielsen
Nielsen.
was
Well,
always
that's true,
cast as
you're
a
right.
comedic actor.
You're
He
right,
was-
okay.
he was always a serious actor until somebody
Leslie
considered-
Nielsen's Joker.
Yeah.
Leslie Nielsen's Joker. Oh,
Okay,
God.
so yeah, well, who's your other?
My other, I would go back if they made a Batman movie. They made serials like shorts in the 40s, but if they made a Batman movie in the 40s,
Oh boy.
I would
know.
cast Charlie Chaplin as
Oh,
the Joker.
yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
hands down, great dictator era.
No,
Yeah.
you're
Charlie
right.
Chaplin.
Actually,
works.
Charlie Chaplin's probably the best person in the universe to play Joker.
Yeah, he would be
Quite
perfect.
possibly, yeah.
Have you seen, by the way, the somebody did the trailer to the '89 Batman, but they cut it together and they did it as a 1940s trailer.
Yeah,
No.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
really,
yeah.
I have
yeah, it's
not
really,
seen
really
it.
good.
In the
show
yeah,
notes.
yeah.
It's very cool.
But no, I think you're absolutely right on that one. Charlie Chaplin. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
so you also get two since Darby gave us two.
Oh.
So,
You get two.
We'll keep things
I get
fair.
two?
If
Okay.
you want it. If you want it.
And not be Arthur.
Dang it. Meryl
Why is
Streep.
everyone stealing my outfits?
I think Meryl Streep should play the Joker. No. No. The one person that comes to mind immediately when I think somebody who hasn't played the Joker yet that really I feel like would do great is Johnny Depp.
Ooh.
I feel like
I'm never
Johnny
gonna
Depp.
not support
Yeah.
my man Johnny.
I feel like Johnny Depp would bring it to another kind of like weird level.
He
that
always does.
Yes, he always does. And you know what? If we have Johnny Depp, bring
She
back
knows who
Tim
she's
Burton.
talking to. Yeah, that's
Oh,
true.
yeah.
If
Would
Tim
it-
Burton was the director.
Yeah.
Johnny Depp.
Because Tim Burton said, "Hey Johnny, I have an idea," and Johnny said, "Yes."
Yes.
Oh, wait a minute.
Now-
Wait. I got one.
Oh yeah.
Jerry Lewis.
Jerry
I
Lewis!
totally thought he
Ooh.
was gonna go with Jerry Lewis because
Yeah.
he loves
Oh,
Jerry
I
Lewis.
love Jerry Lewis.
What's
Big
the
fan.
what's the
Especially with the typewriter bit.
Wait. What's the concentration camp movie?
The sad
The clown.
The sad clown.
The sad clown. Or something. The
one.
one that
The
never
movie
came
that
out.
never got released.
Yeah.
Jerry Lewis refused to release
to
release it.
It's there's one copy.
He's alive in my heart.
Yeah, there's one copy of it known to
This is
exist.
Robin in
It
mine.
was given to the
put
National
it in a
Archive.
vault.
Well,
Yeah.
he gave it to the estate gave it to the archive, but there was like a condition of how many years they had to wait before they
Lord.
could release it.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
I heard is coming up in the next couple of years.
man.
It's a Holocaust clown movie, right?
Yeah, it is. It's a messed up movie.
Ew.
But there's
That just sounds bad.
That sounds
Yeah.
perfect, though.
But I
And
mean-
apparently they're going to release it
Yeah.
finally in a few years.
Yikes.
so okay. Who else?
Hmm.
If you have a
George
second.
Carlin.
George Carlin. No.
Anthony Jeselnik.
No. Well, you know what? Speaking of Anthony's, I think Anthony Hopkins, but like young Anthony Hopkins. might
Young
be
Anthony
good.
Hopkins.
I
Young
can
Anthony
see it.
Hopkins.
I can see
This
it.
might be really good.
I could see it.
Are you talking like pre-Hannibal Lecter?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm talking pre-Hannibal to Cannibal. Yeah.
Where
Okay.
that would almost be the jumping off career of
Yeah,
how he got to
like
be
how he
Hannibal.
became
Yeah.
Somebody
Yeah.
saw him as the
by
Joker, and they're
becoming
like,
the Joker.
"Oh."
I mean,
that
obviously
could
he
do it.
plays a great villain, so that could
Oh
be a
yeah,
cool
Yeah.
pick.
Anthony
Fair enough.
Hopkins.
Okay.
Okay.
I like that.
All right, my two choices.
Chris Tucker.
Actually,
Joker's radio.
listen, I would watch the shit out of that.
Yeah, you know you would.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Do you understand the words coming out of my mouth? Man, don't nobody understand the words coming out of your mouth. You're talking too low. But my
Damn it,
choices.
Batman, why you talking that?
My choices would
Knock the fuck
be
out.
Adrian Brody.
Ooh.
That's an
Adrian
interesting
Brody.
pick. Like pianist, early 2000s or now?
Pianist.
Pianist, okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely pianist era. Pianist.
The 12-inch pianist.
the 12 chord pianist. My second pick would be Jeffrey Rush.
Ooh.
Yeah.
A young or old?
I could see
Anytime. It doesn't
Anytime?
matter. He's that talented.
Jeffrey Rush.
Barbosa?
Yeah,
Jeffrey
Jeffrey
Rush
Rush
has been
could
talented
absolutely do
from
it.
day
Yeah.
Jeffrey
one.
Rush
It
can
doesn't
do
matter.
anything. He's a
That's
classic British actor. He can do anything.
You're all wrong. You're all wrong. The correct answer was William Shatner.
What you don't
No.
understand, Batman.
Where do they
is-
get a load of me?
I'd rather watch Shatner as Riddler. Riddle me this, Batman.
No.
No,
we
no,
know.
Shatner is Batman.
We know who is the perfect Riddler.
Shatner did Two-Face, but
Jim
We
Carrey.
know. Jim Carrey was great.
He was great.
But
Jim Carrey was
Neil
something.
Patrick Harris needs to play the Riddler.
I'm with you. We've
Yeah.
so Alyssa and I have talked about this. We've narrowed it down to
the
two
hell out of
people:
that.
Neil Patrick Harris or David Tennant as the Riddler.
You know, okay, here's the problem with David Tennant.
He's
I-
British.
I love David Tennant.
You can do an
Scottish.
American accent.
Oh, he's Scottish. I'm sorry. You're right.
I
You're right.
Check yourself.
think
Sorry.
David
He's Scottish,
Tennant
though.
needs to stay away from comic book stuff and superheroes.
He's
and-
already approached it
Jessica
with Jessica
Jones.
Jones.
No, I know, and it sucked.
Oh,
No,
get
no.
out.
Yeah, it
Jessica
was,
Jones was
Boo.
awesome.
It was Jessica Jones was pretty good, and David Tennant annoyed me in it because because
I thought
I
he
had
was
just
great.
because
loved
I
him.
had just finished watching the first season of Broadchurch.
Oh, well,
Okay,
okay.
But no,
that's-
but it's like, you know, David fucking Tennant. He's
Yeah.
not the doctor.
I-
He's fucking acting the shit out
I've
of a
never seen
role.
Doctor Who, so I really liked him. in Jessica Jones.
He needs to watch Doctor Who. I know.
I will leave.
You don't. I used to be the biggest Doctor Who fan in the world. I mean, I watched from
Don't blame the
from
new
Tom
stuff.
Baker
Don't put the
through-
new stuff on the old seasons. That's not their fault.
I know, but
David Tennant was magical.
He was great.
yeah, we could. There's a whole conversation. David Tennant was great. 50% of the episodes he was in were garbage, though. But he was great. He was great in everyone he was in.
He was
Well,
great.
50% of Chris Reeve's Superman movies were
Yep,
garbage,
that's
but he
true.
was great in them.
Yeah,
so, like,
that's
I'm
true.
just
you
gonna
can't always
gloss
blame
right
the
past
actors,
that.
what
That's
I'm
true.
saying.
I just
Yeah.
rebooted Master Luke. What's
Krypton.
happening?
Krypton.
Anyhow,
is all I say
Krypton?
to
So
that.
there's a
Krypton.
movie.
Planet Krypton?
No, there isn't.
So the Joker.
No, there isn't. That's a great thing.
Oh, yeah, the
There are
Joker.
movies.
Well, I think we've gone round and round and round.
amongst multiple categories.
So, as referees, who since we're the referees, who made the better case?
Ooh.
I don't know. We talked about too much stuff.
Yeah, I don't even remember. This was about who was the best?
Let's do a tiebreaker. How
Shia
about
LaBeouf
that?
was terrible in that movie.
Shia LaBeouf.
Do a final rebuttal.
Let me see if I can figure out a nice final rebuttal. So
All
yeah,
right.
as far as that goes, so we've got kind of both of your origin stories
Yeah.
with how you came to know the Joker and why you love him as much as you do. So I guess what it really comes down to is, what kind of Joker you truly appreciate. Do you appreciate the sociopath or the psychopath?
It's kind of a mirror into your own psychology, isn't
so
it?
I think that's exactly what Adam was saying.
I agree.
About like the sense of humor. I think that's exactly what Adam was saying about the sense of humor is that like if you're more of a slapstick comedy kind of person,
Which I appreciate.
Yeah.
you would lean more towards my side. But if you like the
Killing small animals.
and being a psycho and burning ants with a magnifying glass and
I did
torturing
that.
small children,
Late-term
that would
bedwetter.
be Adam.
Yeah, other.
I used to I used to torture earthworms as a child.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
I'll go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and say this. I love Heath Ledger. Love his performance.
Oh God,
as
yes,
Joker.
It's great.
It's magical.
I love
it's
the
great.
movie. I love
enthralling.
everyone who's in the movie. Does a fantastic job.
How about we make this the
But-
final? Go ahead with your point.
But I will tell you, Alyssa, I'm siding with you on this one
Yes.
because it's sort of like with the Doctor. The Doctor who's been on the air so long that
Inspector
people
Time Zone.
Well, people will see. People will say, "Who was your doctor?" You know?
Yes.
And it was like, well, mine was Christopher Eccleston because that was the first Doctor I ever saw was
That makes
Christopher
sense.
Eccleston.
He was
so it
first I ever saw too.
Yeah, so it's like, well, that's my Jack Nicholson was the Joker in what was when I was a kid my
Right.
favorite
He was
fucking movie.
He was the Anne Heche of your Batman.
and so I'm gonna have to give the nod to Jack, and I have a suspicion that we're gonna end up in a tie this
We
week.
might.
There's a
Oh,
possibility.
boy.
Yeah.
There's a possibility. So here's the final rebuttal that I want to put to them before I even vote.
Okay.
Ooh.
Here's the thing that I look at it with a villain.
Mm.
A good villain should have a proper end game. You never and that's the thing is villains always get undone. I get the whole trope of that, but who had the better end game, Nicholson or Ledger?
Are we giving our final thoughts yet, or are we simply?
It's sort of a combination. Like we
Okay.
know who you guys voted for,
Sure,
so it's
sure.
not even an out.
Yeah, we doubt
Seinfeld.
either of you convinced the other.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So the ultimate challenge, and then I guess the tiebreaker or
Yeah.
tie maker will come from
Yeah.
me. So
I guess
final argument.
before I get into who had the better end game, I guess it really comes down to personal preference
Okay.
on what
Yeah.
kind, because there's so many different tones and styles like of Batman. Batman is on a wide spectrum of tone.
Oh yeah.
And it kind of comes down to, do you like the old campy Batman or do you like the new real raw Batman? So like it really comes down to which is which. If you
Raw
like
bat
one,
is never good to eat, by the way.
No.
definitely not. So if you
Thanks,
like
China.
if you like one over the other, it's going to be hard to choose. This is one of the few times where I think I've changed my childhood perspective to agree with a newer perspective, because I grew up on Jack Nicholson Joker. Jack Nicholson Joker was my Joker. And then I saw Heath Ledger and it changed me. And it's one of the few times where I actually sided with something newer than what I grew up with. So it really comes down to if you like the clown and the prankster or if you like the schizophrenic, like completely psychopathic anarchist. And Nolan created a Batman universe that is very much grounded in reality, very much real world Batman. So that Joker worked for that movie. So I got to go with Heath Ledger simply because I side with the schizophrenic anarchist side of things. I think that actually plays into his end game. I think his end game is better because his whole goal was to point out how when the quote unquote when the chips are down, when the chips are down, even the greatest of people can do the dirtiest of things for the sake of survival and for this whatever circumstance they're thrown in. Because there's that whole plot in the movie where he has the boat full of cellmates,
The
Two
fairy
boats.
yeah.
the boat full of cellmates, and the boat full of just innocent civilians.
Yeah.
And the whole goal was to see
citizens of Gotham.
When
which
the chips
one
are down, they'll eat each other.
they'll eat each other. Which one will blow up each other first? Or his whole goal was to take Harvey Dent, who was viewed as Gotham's White Knight, and to take him down a notch and show that he's not. He's just one of us.
Corruption.
He's a person.
It's very like the old way that the church used to look at the devil.
Yes.
Why is the devil so bad? It's not because he does bad things, because he makes you do bad things.
Yeah,
he
corrupts.
took Harvey Dent and turned him into Two-Face.
Yes.
He turned him into a villain. So to me, I think Heath Ledger's Endgame was better because he was taking everything that was viewed so highly in Gotham and he knocked it down a notch and said, hey, everybody, like, this is what it really is. Take a look at this. Nothing's perfect. We're all fucked.
Fair enough.
So I got to go with Heath Ledger's Endgame if we're answering that question here.
Okay. What about you, Miss Alyssa? What about Nicholson's Endgame?
My rebuttal is that this question technically only applies to my Joker because of a line that Heath Ledger said, which is, do I look like a man with a plan?
Oh,
He does not have a plan. He's flying by the seat of his pants.
Are we sure about that? Let me not to interrupt you, but he because and you're gonna make fun of me, Jason, but he kind of strikes me as a Captain Jack Sparrow type because he almost he makes everything look so unintentional despite how intentional it is.
Well, he has that line where it's not about the money, it's about making a point.
He is trying
Like
to make
Inspector
a point.
Gadget.
I think that he
Times.
did not plan in advance about, like, this is my plan. I'm going to show the world how corrupt things can be. I think that he just woke up one morning and he was like, you know what I think would be super fun today? I think I'm going to try to turn Harvey Dent into a villain, and I bet I can do it. He didn't plan in advance. However, Jack Nicholson was already a part of an organized crime
Unit.
True.
Before he became the Joker. So I feel like he already has experience in being organized in his decisions.
Well,
Okay.
and what was the first thing he did? He took out the boss.
He took
and
out the boss.
became the boss.
And
Yep.
became the
Yeah.
boss.
True.
And I mean, like,
Heath Ledger has no interest in
exactly.
being the boss.
And then there's the whole little like mini scene where it kind of hints towards later on where he gives the entire city of Gotham laughing gas to make them look just as crazed as he did. He takes the woman that he's messing with. We don't really know. She's a very minor character, and he forces her to have plastic surgery to have a constant smile on her face. And you see it be revealed. She has
I
like
thought
the
he
hockey
sprayed her with
mask.
the little
He did.
flower.
Yeah.
But she also has like scars right here where it looks like they never talk about it. But if you look at her face, she has scars that make it look like she's smiling and grinning
I thought it was
underneath
just
the mask.
chemicals that did it. Okay,
Mhm.
maybe I just never picked up on that. Interesting.
But he makes like a comment about like, isn't she beautiful now? Kind of thing.
It's almost like Green Lantern, where
Yeah.
Hector Hammond is trying to make what's her name, Carol
Yeah.
Carol ugly,
Star
so that-
Sapphire.
Star
Yeah.
Sapphire to make her ugly so that she'll love him on
Yeah.
a similar level. Oh,
Right.
Interesting.
So
But then he just kills her as soon as he sees Kim Basinger.
Yeah,
I
true.
mean,
You know?
But then he
And
sees
then he
another
gets-
Hollywood
Screw it.
guy.
Smashes the
But-
mask.
in the same vein, Jack Nicholson's
Joker
character
smash.
kind of gives up on the little honey that was on his
Yeah.
arm that he completely destroyed her entire face
Yeah.
as soon as he sees Vicky Vale.
Well, because
Yeah.
I wonder, I don't know that it really has so much to do with Vicky Vale in his case as it does with the fact that his life was destroyed because
Because
he
of-
was messing around with her in the
Yes.
first place, which is his own fault.
Yeah,
This is
no,
a woman
it's
who
his
belongs
fault.
to another man, and because he
Yeah.
has a line like that where he's like, "Oh, you messed up my life because of a woman," and he loses
Yeah.
his shit because he's like, "Oh yeah, a woman, really of all
Right.
things," because we're
He
not
definitely comes off as the kind of character, which I also really like. I liked about him is that he comes off as a character that doesn't like to take responsibility for like his hand in it.
Yeah.
He's like,
Which
oh,
is
it's
why he
her
loses that
fault
fake hand.
that my
Let me
life.
give you a hand.
Well,
Yeah.
here's a fun thought experiment. Take the two Jokers and
Mm-hmm.
swap Batmans.
Oh wow! Oh,
Because imagine
that would be so weird.
Imagine the Christopher Nolan Batman against Jack Nicholson. That would be Jack Nicholson would be like, "What the fuck?
Why are you so fucking intense,
Dude, I'm just
Calm down.
fucking hell, man."
No, see, that's where Chris Nolan comes in. Because
Meanwhile,
it's an
Michael
Inception
Keaton would just
level.
be like,
I'm out.
"I'm gone."
I gotta call Christopher Reeves.
No, but that's where we just multiversed it because Chris Nolan comes in for that reason because Jack Nicholson would be like, dude, why so serious?
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
Why
Oh
so
my God.
serious?
Why so serious?
Why are
Yeah.
you taking it so seriously? Because
Yeah.
and personal anecdote. Before
Swear
I get
to
my-
me.
Swear to me. But and that was in the first one.
That was
Before
like
it-
the best line of all three movies.
Swear to me. Yeah, that was great. That
I'm
was
not
so
wearing
good.
hockey pants.
Yeah.
So I think that was the best one. Not my diagnosis. But yeah. So as a person, like,
You had one job.
so Darby, I do have to side with you on the Heath Ledger argument. So we have wound up in a tie. And
We're at a tie.
I'll tell you
That's
why.
okay.
Because like you, I grew up loving Jack
Oh
Nicholson.
yeah, how can you not?
I did, but I had such an emotional reaction, and maybe it's just because of the things that happened in my life. For instance, I've had my own mouth ripped open. When the Joker, it was an accident playing soccer, but when the Joker holds that razor in Gamble's mouth, I remember seeing it in the theater.
yeah.
The entire right side of my face went numb. And every time I watch that scene, I'm even feeling a tingle now.
The funny thing is, I've heard this story 4 times, and it's always different.
It's the. Do you want to know how I got this scar?
I got the scars.
But seriously, whenever I see him hold that razor in Gamble's mouth, my face goes numb, and I just had such a visceral reaction to
that's
that
fair.
movie, despite
Yeah.
the fact that I love Nicholson as much as I did, and like I said, apples and oranges kind of jokers. But I just had such a strong emotional, visceral reaction to the Heath Ledger's Joker that I'm just attached to it. And
That's
I
fair.
can't
Yeah.
get away
Yeah,
from
that's
it.
fair.
And here's to kind of go off
shook
of,
me.
like obviously I grew up with Nicholson too. I just think the Joker's kind of a character that you can portray and play in a number of different ways as long as you keep a few core aspects.
As Mark Hamill
know.
well knows.
Yes,
At this
you
point.
got to keep the purple
I think
suit.
that's the best Joker. All right, we're done. Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill's great. Mark
That's
Hamill,
it.
bye.
but
But you got to keep the purple suit. You got to keep the jokes, and you got to keep. You have to have an awesome fucking laugh. But
yeah, because
like,
don't get me wrong, the fact that Jack Nicholson is dressed in purple and he dances
yeah.
to Prince more
Yes,
than once.
he
It's just so
does.
perfect.
Yeah.
It's a really close margin for me. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie, but Heath Ledger's my winner.
I just think Heath Ledger had more pressure because
Oh yeah.
you have to
had bigger
play a
clown shoes to
character
fill.
that's been done so well
Yeah.
by
Oh, yeah.
Jack Nicholson. You have to,
Yeah.
and so well by Cesar Romero, and you
Mm-hmm.
have to make it different, and you
Yeah.
have to put a new spin on something that people
Exactly.
already love so much.
Yeah.
So I think Heath Ledger had a little more pressure there.
Oh, absolutely. I would agree. He definitely had more pressure on him than, say, Jack Nicholson, just because, like, it was like, yeah, it's Cesar Romero, but I have to make it dark because it's Tim Burton who's directing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think Jack Nicholson approached it with the same mentality.
No, I
I
don't
think Jack
so.
Nicholson said, "I'm gonna fucking be Jack Nicholson
I'm
as
just
the
gonna
Joker."
do me,
Yeah.
and
You know?
it's
Yeah.
gonna
Like,
work.
yeah,
And
yeah.
Kind of cuckoo's nest in a purple suit.
Yeah,
That's fair.
Well,
Like,
it's like Laurence Olivier. I'm gonna go
And
out there and act.
I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
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 And I'm not saying one's better than the other, but like when you watch Jack Nicholson play the Joker, it's Jack Nicholson as the
Yes, you are
Joker.
right.
It's
Yeah,
very Jack
you are right.
Nicholson.
Yeah, I don't see Heath Ledger
Whereas-
when I see his Joker.
That's
I
right.
see
Yeah.
the
Well,
Joker.
that's
fair.
actually
I
That's fair.
completely lose. I sometimes when I watch the movie, I'm like, oh yeah, Heath Ledger is playing the Joker.
Well, see, I actually, when I think of Heath Ledger now,
It's just Joker.
That's who you think of.
That's the only thing
Oh,
I
that's
think of
fair.
when I think of Heath Ledger.
And that was
And
what was
again-
so polarizing about it is the fact that it's
Yeah.
like, oh, that kid from Knight's Tale, the kid from 10 Things I Hate
Brokeback
About You. Are you
Mountain?
kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, really?
Yeah.
And then he just blew everyone's minds.
Right,
and
right.
it just. There are so many poignant moments in that movie that don't even necessarily have to do with him. There's the the pencil, like you said, the
yeah.
semi truck flipping, but
Yeah.
almost everything. He stole the show from Batman.
Yeah.
That's so difficult to
Yeah.
do.
It's
It is.
hard to do.
Yes.
So I'm not gonna lie, Darby. I think you and I might have won the episode. I think we made a better argument for our Joker.
I listen. I'm glad that you think that, but at the same time, it's like I'm so torn.
I feel bad because
I was siding with you, man. God.
We won, okay, whatever. No,
I feel bad because
I love both
made,
Jokers.
I made the closing credit graphic, and I don't and I had anticipated a certain outcome, and it didn't go the way.
Do it.
Take us home. Take us home, Darth.
All right, well, Hindsighters, we so appreciate Darby and Alyssa joining us in the studio tonight for our first ever retrospective on a specific character in 2 different movies at the same time.
Whoa.
So, Alyssa, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And Darby, as always.
Always
Thank
a
you
joy.
very much, both of you.
Thank you all. Jason and I appreciate you guys stopping by for your drive time, your listening time, your quarantine time, your pandemic time. We don't really care what kind of time. Thanks for stopping by. This has been Hindsight, and good night.